Alright, so 1.8 is all about the distributive property, and we've learned about so many different properties, but distributive property is so important that it gets its own day. So before we can get into that though, we need to talk a little bit about what it means to simplify something, because that's basically what we're doing when we're using the distributive property. So to simplify something means, if I ask you to do that, means two things. It means, first of all, you're going to have no like terms left over afterward, and absolutely no parentheses left over. So if I ask you to simplify it, this is what I'm asking you to get rid of. I'm asking you to get rid of your like terms, and I'm asking you to get rid of those parentheses. So before we actually start distributing, I know you're super excited to do it, but just hold tight for a second. We're going to combine our like terms first, and this should be familiar to you, but just a refresher. If I ask you to simplify this, what that means is we're looking for like terms or parentheses. I don't see any parentheses, but I do see some like terms. So remember, like terms have the same variables to the same power. So I see both of these A's. Those look like terms. I don't see any more B's, and I don't see any more numbers by itself. So those are just loners hanging out there. So I'm going to combine those like terms. I'm going to do exactly what operation it's telling me to do. So I have 2A plus 7A is going to give us 9A. And then I'm just going to bring my loners down here. We have no friends. And that's as much as I can simplify. I don't see any like terms, and I don't see any parentheses, so I am finished. Okay, second one's a little bit more crazy, but same idea. So I don't see any parentheses, but I do see a heck of a lot of like terms. So I'm going to start here, 5x and a positive 6x, those are going to be like terms. And then I see a positive 3y and a positive 7y. And then I've got two more loners out here that are just going to stay by themselves. So let's start with the blue terms. We have 5x plus 6x is going to give us 11x if I combine them. And then my y's, I have 3y plus 7y is going to give us 10y. So I've simplified the like terms. I'm going to bring down those loners. And I'm going to ask myself one more time, are there any like terms? Nope. Are there any parentheses? Nope. Then I'm good. So now we can finally get into this distributive property. So distributive property should look familiar. I see no like terms at this point, but I do see some parentheses that I have to get rid of. So in order to get rid of those parentheses, that's where the distributive property comes in, and you might remember it as the rainbow method. So in order to simplify this problem, usually I would follow order of operations, and I would maybe solve what's in the parentheses, but there's no way I can do x minus 5. That's not possible. So you're going to distribute that 2 to every term inside the parentheses. And remember, when you're distributing, it's all going to be multiplication. Okay, as you're doing these arrows, that should be a hint you are multiplying this term by the inside terms. So 2 times x is going to give us 2x, and then 2 times a negative 5 is going to give us a negative 10. So we've gotten rid of the parentheses. Last thing to look for when you're simplifying would be like terms, and these are not, so you are finished. Okay. And then the next one over here, can't simplify anything in the parentheses. I don't see any like terms, so I'm going to multiply this outside term by everything on the inside. So negative 3 times 4x is going to give us negative 12x. Negative 3 times 5 is going to give us negative 15. And then I'm going to look. I don't have any more parentheses, and I don't have any like terms, so I am finished. Now the last section here is where we kind of put it all together. So they look crazy, but don't worry, we're going to work through them. It's basically using distributive property and combining like terms all in one type of problem. So the first thing I would always do is get rid of those parentheses. Okay? So we're going to see right away I can distribute here to here, and I can distribute here to here. This is another loner. It's not in parentheses. It's just going to chill till we're done. Okay? So we're going to multiply. 4 times 7 would give us 28a. And then 4 times a negative 3 would give us negative 12b. Okay, so that's done. I can even cross this out if I want to. And then I might change colors here and distribute this 5. So 5 times 8 would give us, don't forget your operations, positive 40b. 5 times a positive a would give us 5a. And then now we can bring down that loner a. Okay, so we've got the hard part done. Got rid of the parentheses, but I still see some like terms I can combine. So I see a lot of a's, and then I see some b's. Okay, so let's start with the a's. So 28a plus, this would be 6a, is going to give us 34a. And then we have our b's. So we're going to do 40 minus 12, essentially, is, because we're doing opposite sign subtract, is going to give us 28. And it's going to be positive because the bigger number is positive. And I have no parentheses, I have no like terms, so I am good to go. Alright, last one, a little bit more of a doozy and a couple things to be careful of with this one. Our instinct is to solve this first, okay? I'm actually going to have you guys solve this on your own, okay? And if you get it correct, I'm going to give you a raffle ticket tomorrow. But I'm going to give you a hint. Our instinct is to solve this first, is to do 10 minus 4. My hint to you is don't do that, okay? My hint is when you start distributing, you're going to distribute this negative 4 to everything, okay? So that's my hint to you. Get started. If you want to try it, show me the answer tomorrow, and we'll see who gets those extra points.